Namaste. Namaste to all of you. I hope you had a nice week. So today, I'll be talking about the meaning of love or devotion. What is it meaning? How can we develop it? And what will be the experience of devotion or love? This is what we'll be discussing today. And generally people make a distinction between love and reason. The reason is cerebral, love is heart-oriented, love is weak, it makes you weak, reason makes you strong. This is a popular belief. They always make a division between reason and passion. Passion makes you do stupid things. Reason makes you do the right thing at the right time. So the popular notion is a division between the head and the heart. Sometimes people say the division between the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain. That there is nothing left in the right side of the brain, nothing right in the left side of the brain. We don't believe in those kind of binary thinking. We all have a head, we have hearts, and we have to integrate both. You cannot live in divisions and conflict. So devotion is an integration of the head and the heart. It is not just a passion. It is not just a reason, it is an integration. How can we integrate the head and the heart? That's what we are going to see today. And also various kinds of love, various kinds of devotion. That's what we will be discussing today. And my data is from the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The 12th chapter. Those who are students of Bhagavad Gita, they can read the 12th chapter. Because that's a chapter on bhakti, devotion or love. So technically, devotion is known as love for God. Love for God. It's the most integrating emotion. It makes you whole and healthy, cheerful. Ordinary emotion can dissipate your energies. But this devotion can integrate yours. So, let me first understand different kind of love. I will try to categorize them as transcendental love and transactional love. So in the Bhagavad Gita, devotion is known as service. Bhaja sevayam. To be devoted means I am serving somebody or something or some idea. Bhaja sevayam. The Bhagavad Gita says, Swagarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. Worship God with your work. Worship God with your work. Not simply giving a patram pushpam phalam, though Lord says that. The real kind of devotion is worshipping with your work. So, That's the general definition of bhakti, bhajat sevaya. If you don't work and simply spend your time in puja or homas, that is not worship. You can spend your time in puja maybe half an hour, 1 hour. The rest of the time you must be working according to your skills and training and all that. So having said that, let me say there are 2 types of love or devotion. Generally, the general categorization. One is called the transcendental love, I have already just now told you. The other is transactional love. So what is this transcendental love and transactional? And the bhakti literature or devotion literature, when they talk about devotion, devotion is tas sukha sukhitam. That's the key word you have to remember. Tas sukha sukhitam. Love means the happiness of the other is my happiness. That's the definition of love. The happiness of the other is my happiness. And the Sanskrit word is tat sukha sukhitam. If A's happiness become my happiness, then I am devoted to that person or I love that person. If your happiness is my happiness, then I am in love with you. If my happiness is your happiness, then you are in love with me. That's the generic definition of love. So this is the standard. This is how the criteria. Are you loving someone? If you love someone, then that someone's happiness is your happiness. If that doesn't happen, then you are not loving. And there are many kinds of love that we experience. Let's say the mother's love for the child. I'll come back to that grand division later. Transcendental and transactional love. I'll come back to that. A mother's love for the child. Isn't it? When the child is born, then there is even the mother is very selfish, very self-centered. When the child is born, she becomes very loving person, very resilient, very vulnerable, very loving, very caring. It may be a hormonal love, whatever scientific definition you give that. But we experience a tremendous outpouring of love and energy for the baby, for the child. So this love is called Vatsalya Bhakti, a motherly love. And we all have experienced it. Either a recipient of that. If you are not a recipient of motherly love, you won't be sitting here. You would have been cast in the dustbin. Isn't it? So the very fact we are sitting here shows that you are a recipient of motherly love and you are a giver of parental love, and it gives you a lot of purpose and meaning in life. So one kind of love is the motherly love. And the other love is erotic love. Love between lovers. Erotic love. It's the best form of love according to some people. Because in erotic love, there is tremendous energy. Tremendous energy is released as a result of that. But it has a problem. I will come back to that. Erotic love has a problem. Some of you know that. What is the problem with erotic love? But it gives you, at that moment, it gives you great energy, enthusiasm. There are stars in you see only stars and flowers everywhere. But then later you have to pay a heavy price for that. That moment's joy comes with a great pain later. It involves a deep pain. Erotic love. And it is in Sanskrit we call it the Shringara Bhakti. Shringara Bhakti. And you are ready to pay any price for that momentary, intense, passionate experience. At that moment. Later you regret it. That's a different question. Later you may regret it. But at that moment, it gives you intense pleasure and joy. Erotic lover Sringara Bhakti. And the third is between spouses. Spousal, Kanda Bhakti. That's a duty-oriented bhakti. I love my husband because it's my duty. I love my wife because it is my duty. Otherwise, what people will say. There's a social pressure there. And I am ready to sacrifice. I am ready to forgo some of my pleasures. So this is called Kanda Bhakti, spousal love. And most of us spend all our life in that kind of a love. Not that there is nothing left between the husband and wife, but still we carry on. Because of duty. It is my duty. And you discipline yourself in that kind of devotion. So Kanda Bhakti. Another is between friends. I am ready to come with you to the hospital, sit with you, or I am ready to come with you at a police station to help you. So this devotion between friends is called reciprocal. I give you something and you give me something. And if you don't care for me, I don't care for you. Isn't it? That's called reciprocal between friends. And you have experienced that kind of love also. Devotion. And where you are a very thick friend for some time, then that friendship has gone. But we do experience that kind of a love, which is called Sakhya Bhakti, between friends. So these are the kind of devotion. And there is another friendship called Shanta Bhakti, between adults, between mature people. They understand each other, they give each other their own space. They don't come to your house without an appointment. They don't come and knock on your door. A very rational, very balanced devotion or bhakti, love. So this is called Shanta Bhakti. So these are the various kind of devotions or love that you experience between lovers, mother and child, or friends, or spouse. So these kind of love that we experience can be divided into two categories. What are they? I would say one is transcendental, the other is transactional. Now please listen carefully. How do you experience transcendental love? And what is transactional love? Transcendental love, the first factor of transcendental love is it includes the other's happiness. My happiness includes the other's happiness. Whenever such a situation there, that is transcendental love. My happiness includes the other happiness. The other's happiness includes my happiness. Such a relationship, such a love relationship can be called transcendental love. Another aspect of transcendental love is I am ready to make sacrifice for the other. I am ready to spend time with that person. I am ready to financially help that person. I am ready to appreciate that person. I am ready to share that person's happiness and sorrows. Then I am ready to make some sacrifice. That state is called transcendental love. So that is the second aspect of transcendental love. And the third is I feel fulfillment in that sacrifice. I will not keep on reciting that I did that for you, I did this for you, and I make a list of whatever I have done for that. I feel happiness in that. And in that sacrifice, I feel a certain fulfillment. So transcendental love is the end in itself. It is not a means to an end. Please make a note of that. It is not a means to an end. Most of the love is a means to an end. I love that person. I love you. Can I borrow $50 from you? That is a means to an end. Here I love you, surely, period. So here, transcendental love is an end in itself. It is not a means to an end. I find my fulfillment in that. I find tremendous joy in doing something for you. That is another aspect of transcendental love. And then, in the transcendental love, I feel growing. I don't feel a sucker. I feel growing in the person. I feel growing. I feel learning. Wherever you feel that growth and learning and expansion, then I will call it a transcendental love. And in transcendental love relationships, we create win-win solutions. Both are happy. Both gain. There is no loser in the transcendental love. That's why Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, end of Bhagavad Gita, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishnaha, Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha, Tatra Shrihi, Vijayaha, Bhudihi, Dhruva, Nidhihi, Madihi, Mama. Where such a love exists, transcendental love, all the participants in that love, both the parties, they feel happy, fulfilled. So these are some of the aspects of transcendental love. Have you ever experienced this kind of a love? Have you ever? There may be some moments, there may be some relationships where you have experienced the transcendental love. Now, should I enumerate it once again for your remembrance? The first is, in transcendental love, I include the other. My happiness includes the other's happiness. That is first factor of transcendence. Second is, I am ready to make a sacrifice. We have experienced that. Otherwise, I won't be able to run this institution, but I am running. I experienced that. People are ready to make sacrifice. Both are. The Guru and Shishya both are ready to make a sacrifice. The mother and son both are ready to make a sacrifice. That is the foundation of a religious organization. Or for that matter, any organization, for the family. That is the foundation. My happiness is your happiness. My happiness includes your happiness. And the third is, I feel fulfillment. I don't feel bad. I don't feel exploited as a result by making your sacrifice, giving you something. And then, as I told you, love is the end, not a means to something. It is not an instrumental love. It's an end in itself. And then I feel growing. I feel included. I feel I have space around me. I feel I have space around to grow. That's another interesting thing. If that love is transcendental, I am ready to give you the space to grow in your own way. I don't want you to grow in my own way. It's your own way. And finally, as I told you, it is inclusive, it is accommodating, transcendental love. It gives space for everyone to grow in their own way. This is transcendental love. And what is transactional love? This love most of us know, the transactional love. The transactional love is reciprocal. I give you something and I expect something. For your marriage, I give you a gift, and for your daughter's marriage, I give a gift. My daughter's marriage, I expect the same gift. If not the same thing, but something different, isn't it? I call you on your birthday, you must call on me on my birthday. Otherwise, next year I am not going to remember you. On Diwali, I give you a gift and I expect the same gift. Therefore, these days we recycle gift. Last year's gift that you gave me, this year I recycled to you. Isn't it? It's always reciprocal. And that is miserable, reciprocal. And second is transient. This love is not lasting, will not last. It is transient. Today I love you, tomorrow I don't love you. Tomorrow I love somebody else. Transient. It's fleeting. It doesn't have any root. So, transience, then it is possessive. Transactional love is possessive. I want to possess you. I want to tell you what you should do and what you should not do. It's very possessive, very suffocating. Transactional love. And then insecurity. I'm always insecure. If you go out or if you're calling on somebody on the phone, I want to know whom are you calling? Whom are you calling? Why are you calling? Why are you talking to him for so long? What is happening? What is going on between you? That's why it creates a lot of insecurity and doubt. You live in doubt and envy and jealousy in transactional love. Have you experienced that? You have experienced that. And you don't get sleep. You're always doubting. You put a surveillance camera. When are you coming? When are you going? And if you go out, constantly call that person. Where are you? How are you? When are you coming back? And you don't get sleep. Because there is doubt, there is insecurity, constant distrust. Even if you say, I love you, then you say, after 40 years of marriage, you are telling me you are loving me. And if I don't say I love you, then you will keep asking, do you love me? Do you love me? And if I say I do, then you doubt again. You don't love me as much as you love the other person, isn't it? It is a losing game, he says. A losing game. So, constant distress and constant affirmation. You require constant affirmation. Keep on asking, do you love me? Do you love me? Keep on asking. And then another important aspect of this love is, transactional love is exclusion. You don't want anybody to come near you. You go on a vacation. You grab your lover's hand and go on a vacation incommunicado, isn't it? It's very exclusive. That's the problem with that. Very exclusive. And then finally leads to hate and violence. Finally it leads to hate and violence. Therefore, we would go for transcendental love, not for transactional love. And where is it possible? This transcendental love. You have to turn your attention to God. Then alone, transcendental love is possible. And we have seen God is the highest ideal that we have created. Let's say we have created this highest ideal. God is the acme, the paragon of love, virtue, justice, equality, inclusion. That's highest ideal. And we have fallen in love with that ideal. When you fall in love with that ideal of God, of beauty, wonder, I have already defined God in my initial talks. God is a necessity for us. Otherwise, there is no purpose in life, except eating and sleeping and fighting and breeding and all that. There is no higher purpose. So God is a necessity for human life. So we have this idea of God, whether God exists or not, is immaterial. If there is no God, I will create a God out of myself. As the highest virtue, beauty, wonder, justice, equality. God is my inner passion. That's why in Vedanta, in Bhagavad Gita says, God is in you, antaryami. It is your potential. God is your potential for equality, justice, beauty, wonder and all that. So whether God exists or not, finally Vedanta says, you are God, your possibility is God. Antaryami. So there may not be a God outside the universe, sitting there, creating the world. God is my potential. Each one of you have the potential to become a God. So I have fallen in love with that God. I have fallen in love with my own possibilities, potentialities. And living means to develop that potential. To live like God on this planet. To treat lightly on the planet. So therefore, I'm not talking about a philosopher's God. I'm talking about a lover's God. So, love for God. The conviction that I am God. I can create myself after the image of God. You see, the Bible says, God created you after His image, isn't it? But in Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita says, you can create God after your image. That's your possibility, potential. So, devotion is, apart from all other love that you experience, devotion is love for God. It's a dream. You aren't fallen in love with a dream. God is a dream. So how do we develop this devotion? How do we grow in this? That's what I told, we are God's children. We are sparks of God. And this is spark. We can make it a conflagration by working for that. So how do we do that? So let me tell you, the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita says, gives a definition. Let us discuss that a little bit. The definition of devotion. Who is a devotee? Who is a true lover? Who experienced the beauty of love? Bhagavad Gita says, Adveshta sarva bhutanam. When you don't hate anyone, there is no hatred in you, then you are in love with God. At this point, I love my children, but I hate my neighbor, isn't it? I love my children, but I don't like my neighbor's children. That's not devotion, that's not love. If you love your children, that love should encompass the neighbor's children also. So our idea of God is, when you say God created the world, God did not create only human beings, God created the entire universe, sentient, insentient, jada, ajada, all kinds of creatures. The whole universe is a creation of God. That's what I call, we are all God's children. We are God's children. When we say we are God's children, not only people belonging to your tribe, people belonging to the other tribe also are God's children. Not only human beings, but we include animals, trees, rivers, mountains, amoeba, bacteria, even coronavirus, let us say. All are God's creation. That's the idea. When I say God's children, I include everyone in the creation, everything in the creation belongs to God. So we are brothers and sisters because we are all children of God. In the Indian literature, we say Brahma Vamshi Vayam. We are sparks from Brahman. Brahman is a great ocean of love, and we are bubbles there. That's our understanding of creation. We all are tied together. Our destiny is tied together. My destiny is tied together with animals and the trees and the rivers and the mountains, everything. To exist is to coexist. That's our understanding of the creation. If that is, this has to be developed. This understanding is to be developed. We have to love everyone. So Bhagavad Gita says, A true lover loves all. You cannot love one and neglect the other. Adveshta sarvabhutana. You cannot hate anyone. Hatredness has to be uprooted from your heart. Adveshta sarvabhutana. That may be negative definition. Again, Bhagavan says, Maitra karuna evacha. You are friendly with everyone. If you have the attitude, it is possible. Sometimes you think, how can I be friendly with my neighbor? Nasty, he is very nasty. You also think the same thing, you are nasty. So there are two nasty people now. Isn't it? So therefore, if you love one person, that involves loving everyone. Otherwise, that love is just transactional love. It will lead to hatred later. If love is to be sustainable, we have to be in love with everyone. And we are capable to do that. Sadveshta sarvabhutana, maitra karuna evacha, be friendly with all. It is possible. Sometimes you think it is not possible. But it is possible. That is your possibility. Maitra karuna evacha, compassion. Compassion. So, love in its very rudimentary form is lust. In very rudimentary form is lust. It's physical, it is lust, it is possessive. But as you grow in that experience, lust becomes love. Love becomes compassion. You must have experienced that. Initially it is lust, physical, hormonal. Then it becomes love. Then it becomes compassion. Isn't it? Take your own relationship. In the initial years of marriage, it was simple lust. Then as you grow in that relationship, it becomes love. Understand each other, sacrificing each other to each other. Then it becomes compassion. When the old lady looks at the older man, what is the relationship? Tell me. It is compassion. Once upon a time, he was a very strong person. Now he has become very weak. He cannot walk properly. Between each other, there is compassion. So lust becomes love, love becomes compassion, compassion becomes enlightenment. That's the growth. And enlightenment is inclusive. In an enlightened state, include everyone. That's how that energy moves from lust to love and compassion, enlightenment and inclusion. So here we are talking about a all-inclusive. So Maitra, Karuna, compassion. Evacha. Nirmamo nirahankaraha. And in that state of love, you don't possess anything. You share everything. Isn't it? When you love, you give. You give, okay, take it. As Christ said, if somebody asks for your shirt, give him your pants also. If he slaps on one cheek, show him the other cheek also. In love, you can do all this. If there is no love, you will not be able to do this. So, nirmamaha, I don't possess anything. I don't have to. I trust you completely. We have a common account, isn't it? The initial stages of love, you have a common account. You can sign my check or, we share everything together. Later, we become a little more clever and say, let's have separate accounts. So you share everything. Nirmamaha, nirahankaraha. And I become humble in that relationship. Even if you call me stupid, I don't care. Sometimes in anger, you say you are a monkey, you are a donkey, you are stupid. But if there is love, you don't care. Nirmamaha, nirahankaraha. There's no ego. Otherwise, if somebody calls me stupid, my blood pressure goes up. But in this relationship, I feel okay. Nirmamaha, nirahankaraha. Samadukha sukhatshami. Bhagavan said, in that state, You are the same in pleasure and pain. The mind is balanced in that. In any relationship, love relation goes through these ups and downs. So you have some resilience to balance yourself. As the relationship rocks, you have some resilience. So one day you don't talk, then you again start talking. One day you say I hate you, another day you say I cannot live without you, isn't it? So you are able to balance your relationship as the relation goes through these ups and downs. Samadukka sugachani, and you have immense patience. When you are in love, you have great patience. So these are some of the Bhagavad Gita's definition of love. And I'll be coming to 10 characteristics of a devotee. So today's my main focus is how to develop this devotion for God. How to do that? God is our highest ideal. How do we go about? How do we have the capacity to develop devotion? This kind of a God who is virtuous, paragon of all virtues, values. How do we develop? That will be our focus today. So the Bhagavad Gita says, you can worship me in a particular form. Take a particular image. Like in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna wanted to know, Bhagavan, show me your true form. And God showed him his Vishwarupa, the cosmic form. And Arjuna got terrified. Oh, this is too much for me. So Bhagavan shows that Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, a beautiful blue form, draped in yellow robes, having 4 hands. In one hand holding a lotus, another hand holding a mace, third hand holding a discus, fourth hand Shankha, Chakra and a conch. All are symbolic. So Bhagavan says, take this form, put it in your puja room and worship this. A particular form is given. If in a Western tradition, maybe Jesus Christ hanging on the cross. I'm talking about Bhagavad Gita's solution. So take a particular form. Because that form represents all the ideals that you worship. You want to become. That's a kind of logo for you. So Krishna or Shiva or Rama or Christ. Take a particular. And that form represents God for you. Which is called a murti or an idol. Idol worship is not ideal worship, it is ideal worship. Take a murti and put it in your puja room or in a corner of your house. That murti symbolizes, represents all the ideal you want to live by or you want to become. So whenever you look at the murti, you are inspired. This is how you begin developing devotion for God. This is how you begin to express your godliness. You put that murti at that idol in a corner. If possible, have a special place for that. And once the idol comes to your home, then your whole lifestyle changes. Whole lifestyle. You feel a presence in your home. There is something in your home. You can feel a power, a presence. Earlier home was empty. Now you feel a presence in it. That night you feel secure. You could sleep very well because I am safe now. My God is in my house. It may look little childish when I am talking this. How can this idol be God? This is made of stone. This is made of brass. This is made of metal. This is made of clay. But that represents something. That creates a new energy in your house. That day you feel good. Whereas you are feeling empty. So put that idol. Early morning you wake up. Early morning you wake up, and the first thing you do is go to that room and look at that idol. Remember. Or if possible, pluck a flower from your garden and offer it. And you feel very good. You feel very good. You feel certain belonging. Somebody is there to care for you. As Bhagavan says, I shall take care of you. So just by offering that flower, you are creating a relationship with a higher principle. You are touching something deep within you. Just that simple act of offering a flower. Or chanting a mantra, praising God. Generally we praise ourselves, don't we? For the first time, you are praising God. You are my father, my mother, my everything. I belong to you. We have a need to belong to something. We all are going through this tremendous loneliness. Nobody to love me, nobody to care for me. Nobody listens to me. So for the first time, you feel somebody is listening to you. Somebody is caring for you. Somebody is looking at you. Somebody has time for you. Otherwise, nobody has time. Even your husband has no time for your wife has no time for you. Children have no time for you at all. Your friends are all busy. Nobody to listen to you. So when this murti comes home, it's a stone, made up of stone, doesn't matter. Or maybe just a picture, doesn't matter. When you put a flower, or when you sing a song or chant a mantra, you feel belonging. Oh, somebody is there to care. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever experienced? If you have not experienced that, your life is worthless. Have you experienced this outpouring of emotion for something higher and transcendental? Can you feel inspired by looking at this murti? No, it's just a murti. It is made of stone. I brought it from the market. I put it at the back of my car. I brought it here. I kept it in my puja room. It is me. I don't feel anything. Then you are a poorer person. Not only poor, you cannot imagine it. You cannot feel it. You cannot invoke this energy. Just by that act of offering a flower is a great invocation. It expands your wish. It is the first training for you to give and feel good. Generally, we don't feel good when we give. Isn't it? If you cut a $10 check, next time the bank statement comes, my God, I have become poorer. I have become poorer. But here, you become richer. Or you praise someone. When you praise someone, you feel wretched, isn't it? He is great, I am lesser. But here, when you praise God, you feel richer, more inspired. You feel you are growing with that. Have you experienced that emotion? If you have not, life is worthless. Just by giving, just by offering, just by praising God. Praising the other. It could be your parents, it could be your friend, it could be your neighbor. Can you praise? Can you wonder at a tree? In India, there is a tradition, you go round and round a peepal tree. We think he is mad. He is not mad. You are mad. That ability to go around a tree and wonder at the beauty of the tree is a great emotional experience. Or you look at the moon or the sun or the star and feel that emotional thrill or ecstasy. So just by offering a flower or by praising God, you are praising yourself. You are feeling that. But we say there is no God. God is dead. Long back he is dead. Maybe he was there once upon a time. He is no more there. That attitude is only impoverishing yourself. So the first day, we offer a flower. And when we cook food, we think of that Murti. God is in my house, isn't it? I have downloaded God into my house. Or I invited God into my house. Look at the ecstatic experience you get. I'm not talking just rationally. I'm talking emotionally. There's a great experience. When I cook food, I think of this new guest in my house. So whom are you cooking for the new guest? Where is he? Come to my room. But this is a stone, not for you, but not for me. When I cook, I think I cook the best way. Maybe I cook only 1 or 2 dishes, but I make it the best. And before I eat, I share it with this God in my house. I first give to God. Then I pray. I make it prasad. I make it as a blessing. Then I eat. Then when I leave home, I take leave of this God. By the time you must have thought I am going crazy, isn't it? How can I take leave of this God? It's not craziness. It is utmost intelligence. The intelligent way of living. I take leave of this God. When I come back, again I go and meet. Thank you for taking care of me. The driving was difficult, the office was tough, everything was difficult, but you took care of me. I am beholden to you, O God. This is how you develop a relationship with the transcendent. The rest are all transient. All other relationships are transient. Whether it is spousal relationship with the children will grow up and they will leave you. Then you will have that empty nest syndrome. They may call you occasionally, hi dad, mom, how are you? That's it. There is no abiding relationship. They're all transient. They go their own way. But here, this relationship will be lasting. That is why it is called a devotional relationship. And if I have a problem, I will go and talk to this idol. If I have a problem. Because nobody else is listening to me, nobody has the patience. If I get a psychologist, he will charge me. Isn't it? Here, the Lord doesn't charge me. I can keep on talking to this Lord. And over a period of time, you start, God is talking to you. This Murti is talking to you. You can establish that relationship. After some time, you start thinking, this is called Murti Puja. It is very, very intelligent way of relating with God, Murti Puja. I am surprised that the West doesn't appreciate this. The West thinks Murti Puja is idol worship, it is blasphemy. It is not idol worship, it is an ideal worship. It is making God's presence very real to you. I think I can do something. I can relate physically, emotionally, intellectually. So we have to bring this visual image of God, not just a verbal image, into our life. So this image is a representation of all the values that you are trying to develop. That's how we look at that. So it's more visual, not just verbal. The book is verbal. This is visual. So I think the Hindu way of worshipping God is far, far superior than the Western way of worshipping God. You can see it, you can touch it. God comes into your life in a very visible way. So Murti Puja is very important. Now you start thinking, what is this God I am worshipping? What are his powers? What does it mean? And slowly you realize the God I am worshipping, my God, is the author of the whole universe. Though he has condescended to come to my room and sit in my room and receive my petitions and applications and play with me, listen to me, my songs, though nobody wants to listen to my songs, but this God is ready to listen. Isn't it? Nobody wants to listen because I have a very bad voice, poor voice. But this God is ready to listen. Like a baby, listen to the song of the mother. Nobody wants to listen, but the baby is very happy. So you are singing, you are chanting, you are decorating the God. Now I want to know, what is the true nature of this God? My God, I have not understood him properly. Because he is in my puja room, I have taken him for granted. Or her for granted. Slowly you realize, this God is a creator of the whole universe. This God is everywhere. So from this Murti, we go to the Virat Rupa, or the Vishwarupa, the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He is everywhere. He is in everything. My God, though he has condescended or consented to come and sit in my house to receive my petitions and applications and complaints, he's not whom I thought he was. He is all pervasive. He is everywhere. So your idea of God expands. Idea of God expands and God becomes all these put together. That is why Bhagavan says, now I love not only this Krishna who is sitting in my room, I understand Krishna includes everything. That's why it's Krishna. Krishna means he tracks everything. He includes everything. Everyone. Not only human beings, but animals and trees and whatnot. So your love also expands. Your love becomes universal love, inclusive love. That's how we develop it. That's how we develop this love. Otherwise, it is just an ideal. I love God, but I hate everybody else. You cannot. If you love God, you have to love everyone. It's not just an idea. It has to be practical. Adveshta Sambodh. I am in love with the whole world. I can't hate anybody. Which is the basis of justice, isn't it? Equality and justice. The basis of that, I love everyone. And you have to develop this, cultivate this. You have the potential for that. Simply saying I love is not enough. If I love, you must be able to share. That is one definition of love. I am ready to give food to God, but not to anybody else. No. If you love, you must be able to share. If God is all these put together, then I must be able to share with everyone. Not only share, I must be able to love and feel happiness in that. When I give you something, I must feel happy and fulfilled. I feel I am growing in the process. So your idea of God expands. The whole universe becomes a manifestation of God. That's why he said, Adveshta Sarva Bodhananda, Maitra Karunaya Vacha, Nirmamo Narahankara, Samadukha Sukhachami. Then I develop patience. And then, so this is how you develop the love for God. And then a time will come, you don't see any difference between you and God. There is complete tadatmya, complete intimacy. You're that little self dissolves. Or it may remain like a candle in the sunlight. You know, when you have a candle in the sunlight, it remains, but is overshadowed by the sunlight. So you may keep your little identity, but that identity is overwhelmed by this universal experience, this ecstatic experience of sharing and giving. So finally, it becomes complete union. The division disappears. And I feel continuously ecstatic. Tadarpita akhila ajarada tadvismarane parama vyapulana. You're always in that ecstatic mood, ecstatic love. There's no hatred. All your actions become an offering to the Lord. All that happens to you becomes a gift of God. Friends, only this attitude can save the world. Nothing else can save the world. We are in a very dangerous situation today. Aggression, violence, exploitation. Look at the Trump-Biden debate. We have lowered everything into the basic. There is no dignity, there is no respect, no love. How long can we carry on like this? We have to put an end. If you want to survive as a human species on this tiny planet, this love is to be brought back. Love for God, love for all. Love for God is love for all. Love for all means sharing, respecting, giving space to everyone. Otherwise, even if you survive, that is a miserable survival. There is no joy or ecstasy. So begin with this Murti Puja, which I think is very, very important. That way you learn the art of giving, sharing, loving, and understanding, wisdom also. That kind of a transcendent love is being taught in the Bhagavad Gita. And such a lover, so please note this, Sasukha Sukhitvam. Your happiness should include the happiness of the other. Then you are in love. And the other's happiness becomes your happiness. Then you are in love. That's what we want to do. So some of the characteristics of a person in love with the whole universe, with God, not with a particular person. Love for a particular person, excluding everybody, is just emotion. It is dissipating. Love should include everyone. You cannot say, I love Krishna, but I hate everybody else. That is a miserable form of. Krishna also doesn't want that kind of love. Krishna says, if you love me, you must love everybody. That is a condition, first a condition. If you simply say, I love you and hate everybody, then I have nothing to do with it. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. And we are capable of doing this, friends. We can invoke that kind of emotion. We have that capacity, provided you want to develop. Some of the characteristics of a devotee, santushtaha, is always happy. A devotee is always happy. One who is in love with God is always, she is never. Second is, he doesn't cause fear to anybody. In his presence, nobody feel any fear. Everybody feel comforted, relaxed. That is one sign of a bhakta, in whose presence you feel to put down all your defenses. You feel comfortable. Wherever, whoever presence you feel comfortable. Isn't it? When you're sitting under a tree, you feel comfortable. isn't it? You don't feel threatened. But the moment somebody else comes, all your differences are up. So devotee is one in whose presence you feel comfortable. It doesn't cause any fear to you. Nor you cause any fear to him also. A devotee. Even if you go with a weapon, he's calm and quiet. Then you drop your weapon. That's another sign of a devotee. It doesn't cause any fear to anybody, nor does he feel any fear from you. Think of that kind of situation. Then it is said, anapekshaha, a devotee doesn't depend upon anybody for his happiness or her happiness. Anapekshaha. His happiness or her happiness comes from the contemplation upon the beauty of God. Nothing else is necessary. Anapekshaha. He's totally free. Totally free. Anapekshaha. Shujihi, very clean. A devotee's environment will be clean, body will be clean. Devotee smells like a baby. This is another sign. Smells like a baby. Fresh. All the time fresh. Shujihi. Then, udasinaha. Udasina. Very relaxed all the time. There is no tension. There is no agitation. Relaxed. Because he knows the truth. So he is relaxed or she is relaxed. Udasinaha. Gyadavyadaha. No tension, no anxiety. Gyadavyadaha. Dakshaha. At the same time, the devotee is very efficient and effective. Dakshaha. Supremely effective and efficient. Because when you do things in love, you do the best way. Otherwise, if you don't like a person, you bring a cup of coffee and then as you give it, you drop in his clothes, isn't it? Because you are doing it in a hurry. If you do it with love, it's a perfect action. So one sign of love is all your actions are perfect. Your words are perfect. Your gestures, your body language, everything will be perfect. Then, stiramadihi. He is a dependable person. That devotee is a dependable person. Not a character. So, these are some of the, please read the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. You will get the characteristics of the devotee. Another character is the devotee has no particular home. He feels at home with everybody. He is comfortable or she is comfortable under all situations. So, this is how you develop universal love, which you are capable of. So, start with bring God to your house. Have a picture or a murti and learn to offer a flower every day. If there is no flower, you can do a prostration. Just go to that room and prostrate. You become the flower. Your body becomes the flower. That you can do at least. No, my problem is once I prostrate, I require 10 people to lift me up. Isn't it? I cannot prostrate because I have backache, knee pain and all that. Okay, then you sit and praise God. That you can do. Praise. Give some praise to God. Recite His glories. Recite God's glories. When you recite God's glories, you are being benefited in the process because all those values will seep into you. You are nurturing the seed of divinity within you by singing the glory of God. Isn't it? You are not the loser. Because you are afraid of praising someone, isn't it? If I praise someone, that someone may exploit me. No, here, that doesn't happen. So if you cannot offer a flower, do a prostration. If you cannot prostrate, sing the glory of God. In the process, you will discover the God within you. You become a walking God. That's our ultimate objective. When we say you are a child of God, what we are saying that you are the father of God. You are when you say God created you, what it says you can create God out of yourself. That capacity we have, let us experience that, and this is what I call the expanding circle of love. From your puja room, your love increases, expands, and includes the whole universe. Let that be your mission in life. Get hold of a murti, put it in your house, and begin your devotional pilgrimage all the way to the summit of the ecstatic experience of being in love with the whole universe. So thank you very much. And next week we will be talking about the vibhuti, play of consciousness, the dance of God in your heart and wherever you look. That will be next time. Thank you once again.